Welcome to the Enabling Festival 2021. My name is Daniel and I'm the co-founder of Enable Asia. Due to the current pandemic situation, this festival will continue to remain an online festival for 2021. The festival really aims to challenge, to explore, to shape perceptions and the understanding of dementia as well as caregiving, but through technology and the arts. Well, this year's focus is on taste, and we have curated many different programs surrounding taste for you. So please visit us at enableasia.org to see what we have to offer. Please enjoy the upcoming programs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Enabling Festival 2021. This Enabling Festival 2021 is all about taste. What is taste? Taste is something that we have it through food, and food always triggers a lot of memories that we have when we're eating out. Okay, I'll try again. Okay.
Let's give it a while.
Okay, food triggers memories. Okay, okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Enabling Festival 2021. My name is Aaron and I'm an artist and a photographer and a filmmaker. Enabling Festival 2021 is all about taste. What is taste? Taste is the sense that we get when we eat food, delicious food. And what is, and these foods itself actually triggers our memories, and it is a very, very powerful time machine. When we eat food, this is something that it triggers our memories, it triggers our, things that we remember from the past, including our first love, our friends, our family, the favorite places that we go to. And this is something that it is a very powerful tool for among all of us. Am I right? Yes. So this is also happening for elderly patients or elderly people as well, especially for people with dementia. So food actually helps to trigger a lot of these memories with them. So what I'm going to do is to introduce my friends around me. Maybe we'll start off with Aloysius.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Aloysius. I'm a film director and currently working on a few projects that are related somehow to food and as well as dementia.
Yeah.
So I pass on to
Dorcas.
Hi, I'm Dorcas. I'm a graphic designer, so I do creative work and yes.
Creative work. That's amazing. So today, we're going to have a very, very casual discussion about what food memories bring to us. So maybe we can share with each other what our favorite food memory is. What is something that excites us so much when it comes to food. Maybe I could start first. Sure. So for me, my favorite food that I have, when I'm here in Singapore is curry fish head. Curry fish head is something that I've been eating since I was very, very young, and I remember when I was the curry fish heads, especially the ones at Taman Jurong, because back then Taman Jurong, not the new one but the old one, it is a very old hawker center, and my parents and my grandparents would come. My grandparents would come from Malaysia, travel all the way from Kuching all the way to Singapore, and what they would do, right, is that my parents would drive them all the way to Taman Jurong Hawker Centre. The main dish that we always order is a huge bowl of hot, sizzling curry fish head. I feel that itself, the idea of actually eating together in a cold, rainy day with hot, delicious curry fish is something that I always share this memory with my grandparents, who I don't really meet them quite often in the first place, and that itself is something that it just brought me together. It just reminds me of the moments that we share with each other on a family table. So what is your favorite food memory?
Funny thing you ask, food really brings memory, because when I look back at my childhood, so this is going to be related to my childhood because I usually find food very amazing, very intricate and very fascinating. That's why in my works there's going to be a hint of some food element in it as well. So back to the question Aaron asked, is what's my favorite food? It was nothing special, really. I would say it's just a store in downstairs my coffee shop, my house coffee shop, and one was store there. It was there for the longest time of my childhood, but the owners have ever since retired lah. So it was a bowl of fishball noodles like mee pok. Yeah. So I guess locally everybody know what is mee pok and mee kia, and fishball noodle is sort of like a Singapore representation of what is it local food and what it can represent us as Singaporeans. And yeah, I'm just trying to think back because during my childhood there was a lot of time where we spent breakfast time, meal times in our neighborhood, my family's neighborhood. And it was an interesting time when both my parents, as well as I have a younger sister, so we would spend some time every weekends to dine in the coffee shop, and that fishball noodle shop was the go-to to actually eat.
So you always go down to the coffee shop and always specifically order the same fishball noodles.
Exactly. And it's not something very I mean it's nice lah, but it's not something super nice like award winning or even like it's recognition or something. It's not. It's just it reminds me of this very hearty times where me and my family enjoy, and we have a go-to dish in this store as well. I mean at least I have lah. I and my mom lah.
I bet the auntie and uncle also know you.
Exactly. So every time I went down to the coffee shop, whenever I go straight to their store, they say, yeah, the usual, right? I'll cook for you. Yeah. So it's quite interesting lah. And tending the store is these two lovely couple who is married quite sometimes, and they are in midlife 50 to 60s already. They're just doing it. Later then I will know they are just doing it for the pastime, to just pass their time while their children and their grandsons, granddaughter, right, come to visit them as and when. So it's quite a heartening scene to see whenever they pass by, and it reminds me so much of my times with my grandparents. Yeah.
Nice. How about Dorcas yourself?
For me, so unlike Aloysius and Karen, I'll talk about something that I usually have at home. So I grew up with my grandparents since young, so we stay in the same house, and I remember in primary school, right, after I come back from school every day, my grandma would actually always cook Teochew porridge. So my family is Teochew, so we eat it quite often now still, but what was special back then as a memory was that my grandma was still able to cook, and it's quite a simple meal. Like it's like just boiled porridge with like things like peanuts, with the pickled vegetables, and with the fermented tofu. All these kind of dishes that are quite easy to prepare, I would say. And back in the day, I actually was quite sian sometimes, like porridge again. But now, looking back, I actually miss those times, and I will look forward to have Teochew porridge at home nowadays still, with my grandparents as well. Yeah.
Maybe I ask you a question. Le Wei Hiao Da Teochew Weibo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also Teochew also. So, well, maybe we could move on to the next part, which is like caregiving itself, because caregiving is something that, like, you mentioned about your grandmother, like, living with you. I just want to know more about like caregiving in terms of how you actually take care of her, and how that has impacted your life since you live close to her.
Yeah. So I think for our family, my grandma's primary caregivers are actually my mom and my helper. But we all live together in the same house, right? So I interact quite a lot with my grandma on a daily basis. She has had dementia for more than 10 years. Yeah, so now she's in the advanced stage. And I see her daily, right? So you cannot see her deterioration. I guess in terms of caregiving, sometimes I would try to help around, like just sitting there beside my grandma. I think it's something that helps my mom and my helper, because when they need to do their own stuff, right? Like just being assured that there's someone there beside her, and if she needs anything or she needs to go to a toilet, at least there's someone there to help. So I think there's a whole it's been a journey lah. And we learn as a family how to care for her, how to care for each other as well.
And can I ask how old your grandmother is?
So she's 91 this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Have you been living with your grandmother like since?
Yes, since I was born. Yeah, so it's quite funny because like when I was young, she was the one who took care of me, especially when my parents went to work, right? And then now, like, wow, things have changed so much. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine. How about yourself? Like, how do you care for? Maybe tell us more about like your relationship with your grandmother, and then how do you do like the caregiving? Are you the primary caregiver?
I'm not. But I think speaking on Dorcas' point, I get the feeling. I get the what she's feeling like, because there was a point in time where I was quite close with my grandma, and at a point of time that she was living in our house, my parents' house, and then that's when doctors talk about like how she could relate, like see like the grandma from healthy and transition over to dementia, right? That point of time, my grandma was already showing like early symptoms of dementia, and therefore it's quite unfortunate. I had to see that process, and which also one of the incident, right, actually inspired my film Gashakwan, and basically is an instance whereby my grandma one day couldn't recognize who am I, although we spent like the huge chunk in my house, and she is my grandmother, and it took me off as a surprise like it took me out of that comfort zone of like thinking that, oh shit, like things can happen, like even the closest one can forget you or don't remember you.
That's really unfortunate, because like the same kind of thing actually happened to my grandmother as well, like particularly my paternal grandmother. In fact, like I don't live with her, she actually lives in Kuching as well, but like I can see when the last time around I made the film in 2019, the film that I was exhibiting last year during Enabling Festival, she was still pretty clear-headed. She's still able to recognize who we are, what I'm doing, but because of like the extensive lockdown that happened like over last year itself, she's stuck at home. She wouldn't be able to get out even to my aunt's place or my her friends or even to the temple whatsoever. So she's been stuck at home for the most part. So it kind of like had a very heavy impact on her health, especially her memories as well. It starts forgetting a lot of like stuff. So really unfortunate. Like over the past few months, like she, when we FaceTimed each other, she couldn't really recognize us over the phone itself. She couldn't really listen well. She couldn't really identify who I am. It's kind of sad, and I hopefully like one day the pandemic is over and I can get back to Malaysia, or just see what I can do to reconnect with her, because I do still miss her like all the way. And
the first thing, she's not here like in Singapore, right?
Yes.
So you cannot anytime like go over to say, hey, how are you now?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe like the pandemic, like has that shifted like how we feel about like dementia, or has that changed? And maybe like if not, like what technologies is it out there that we actually help to activate certain things with our grandparents?
Yeah, I think technology, like what you mentioned, like you even using technology to speak to your grandma, that's like one huge huge thing that has helped. Helped you. I think for me, as I live like with my grandma, right, like there's no such barrier, but we've tried to let her like use technology like iPads and stuff to like play around, but she's quite technology averse. She didn't grow up in this like tech environment, and before she had dementia, she also didn't really use any tech devices. Yeah, so I think now like sometimes like just all my siblings will use our phones, right? They will just like take out Instagram or like our cameras, and then we'll just like show her like, hey, who is this on the camera, and she wouldn't really recognize herself, but she will look at it quite intensely and she'll be quite amused sometimes. So it's just quite fun sometimes, like when you use like filters and all that, right?
Yeah, so it's like Instagram filters. Okay.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I mean, I just want to say before the technology, but I think the whole concept of like, because I'm at that stage that I started working, and I think adulthood and the working lifestyle has caught up, and to be frank, I think personally I need to improve like on catching up with my grandma and spend more time with her, and trying to make more initiative on my part. So with that said, like what technology have helped, of course it does, but if families and loved ones are in this together, like closer together, initiate more stuff, that would be great, because it will also help, even if in this situation, in this pandemic situation, right, everyone is together alone, you get what I mean, like separated but together. So it seems like I guess, at least to me, I feel like the neglected ones are the older generation, the senior people, whereby also example of like some seniors don't want to or haven't yet take the vaccine. And in terms of like family outing, right, it will it will create this rift in terms of like, oh, we want to go out and eat, but my grandparents or whoever haven't vaccinated
get the vaccine.
So I mean, it's really important, but I get why they're not vaccinated lah. There's probably reasons to it, and being this being at the age whereby it might cause side effect, it's also quite worrying about for me lah, and my parents and my relatives lah. So we are a bit reserved, like whether to do it or not, but at the end of the day, it is a choice for my grandma.
So like have maybe if we go back a little bit to the technological part as well, like maybe would you mind sharing with us more about how you actually also like engage with your grandparents with technology, or maybe games or whatsoever? Do you have you had that?
Yeah, definitely. I actually just bought an iPad, so it's for work lah. But I recently found out, because my mom borrowed it for certain users as well. So she actually thought of this idea that actually some of the games that I have downloaded, right, is actually quite fun and interesting for something suitable for my grandma also. And she suggested that, hey, one of the day when we pop by, my grandma is now over at my aunt's. So whenever we visit our grandma, we will go to my aunt's place lah. And how technology actually help in terms of your question, right, is I think some of the games that is created using the app system in the iPad or phones or whatever technological devices, right, there's bound to be some genres that are puzzles, finding the missing pieces and all that, and finding similarities and differences. So these are some of the games I think it can help. I mean, not professionally lah, but I think, in my opinion, it can help the brain to actually activate some of the pointers and the factors in to actually jumpstart what they are thinking.
The psychomotor skills, right? Because I think that's very, very important for like elderly people to see something, touch something, to feel something, and then after that, like it just triggers a huge host of memories back to them. And I think that's something that keeps their brains so much more active.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I just want to ask, right, like about ourselves during this pandemic, because like the last time round when we actually had like there's no epidemic in the past. There's no pandemic in the past. It's just an epidemic. And I remember like the last time round, like SARS was a big thing. I think it was 2003. And SARS, you know, for me, I remember like in school I had to take way too many like temperatures or something like this. So that is something that like it affected me like back then, but today it's a very, very different thing, right? How did the COVID pandemic affected all of us? Like maybe, I don't know, do you want to start first and then we could go like this?
I think, yeah, I actually don't remember that much about SARS, and actually
Exactly, what do I remember?
I remember like
taking temperatures.
Temperatures, washing my hands,
and they
out
have
the
like
blue.
songs or campaigns to wash your hand or something like that.
I was in primary school. Like I remember I was in primary school. Was that in primary 3 or something like this? I don't remember.
Good job, Singapore. You market your stuff very nice. Now I still remember to wash my hand.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I was also in primary school, and I only remember like, oh, I had to do this project on like SARS, clip out the newspaper articles, and like before that, like SARS was over in like a few months only, and life went back to normal.
Maybe I think we are too young to experience the whole cycle and cultural impact.
Yeah, it's
right?
true. It's true.
Because when we are young, we are just we don't have a mind of our own per se.
Yeah.
We're just following what the adults are doing.
Yeah.
So maybe to that extent, that's why memories are so reliable and unreliable at times.
Yeah, but then we get to hear from other people. So like my parents, they also said they were very scared back then because it's a very new thing and it was so daily, right? Yeah, but then for COVID, I think now we are grown up.
We got it now.
We feel it a lot.
But no joke, it's really impacted us.
So how, maybe I could go first, like with regards how it actually impacts me, because it affected my job. Last year itself, I was actually in New York, like in 2020, before I actually came back to Singapore. In fact, like I tell everyone, I got retrenched. Like in New York, the company had like they wanted to scale down, and one of the things is that like unfortunately I was the role that I'm taking, it doesn't feel relevant anymore. So I came back to Singapore, and that kind of affected like how I actually like planned out my journey after that, and became like a freelancer. I thought that was like the best thing I've ever had to my life at this point of time, because it just really taught me so much. I feel very humbled to actually start doing things on my own and all this kind of thing. So, and I got the space and the time to actually start thinking about what I actually want to do in my life. Like I'm still thinking, but like I know that like it is something that is how do I put it? It's something that is really meaningful, because it's kind of like it gave me some time to actually think find out what my priorities are. So in terms of the pandemic, it's a blessing and a curse, definitely. It's always a double-edged sword. But I just want to hear more about how that affects both of you.
I guess I just start based on context lah. So I'm from film and television. My background is. I decided to make a jump partly due to COVID, but also partly due to I wanted to try new realm of things. So now I'm in advertising, but I'm also using my knowledge in film and television to to do my work and to hone that part of advertising. So it has really changed a lot, because don't talk about filming and all that stuff, but in simple meetings and all that, now we are just going virtual everywhere. And what I realized is, because coming from a people-oriented or client-oriented situation, right? You are so used to physical, physical touch, physical meet with the person, and the time spent with that person, like how we are sitting and talking together now. Yeah, we are so used to that, right? And the snap that going into virtual, right? It takes the experience out. Like you can't really, I can't really explain, but also you can't really grasp the feeling that, oh, I'm in front of camera talking to you guys about stuff. And I feel like, in my opinion, this is something that I can't get used to, because I'm always been the guy that, if you want to meet someone or you want to close a deal, right, make the effort to come down and hey, get to know the person better. So in terms of workflow in general, the virtual, yes, it gets things done, and technology does wonders, right? But it just loses that personal touch, I feel. And I think also relating back to the technology question that you have said, right? There are times where it helps, but also there are times where people just lose a part of themselves because of technology.
Yeah. Did it affect your mental perspective or the mental health as well, like during the pandemic? I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, besides work, right, we have our own personal lives, and I also like to meet people face to face. You can see their non-verbal cues, and it's just very different, right? Like being in person. I think definitely that lack of human touch has made me very comfortable being on my own. So it's just like you need to make that effort to actually connect with people, even if it's through virtual means, right? I think that played a part in like how I view like relationships and friendships. In terms of mental health, I think because I feel like I'm stuck in this cycle of like, just day by day passing, and that pattern is the same because we are stuck at home, right? I think to some extent it did affect my mental health. Like I felt drained, and there's the term that everyone's talking about, languishing, right? I felt a bit like, hey man, like what is my life all about? I think it made me think about my purpose in life, and I think like you, it also gave me the time and space to think, take a pause to reflect on actually what matters in life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think for me, right, like there's one part, there's the reverse culture shock that I was experiencing with the relocation back to Singapore.
Yeah.
It's not like going to the US is a culture shock, and then back in Singapore after a few years in the US, it's a reverse culture shock, right?
Maybe you want to talk more on that, because I can't relate.
I did miss like a lot of the food that I was eating in New York, because like I've been so accustomed to the pizza, the flavors, my favorite bagel shops, I'm hungry at this point of time. And then not just that, there's the element of the heat as well.
Oh, yes.
Because like it is warm and humid here in Singapore, and getting adapted to that, and at the same time when I have a lot of friends, and then I'm all alone with myself, my family members, and I couldn't really meet up with my friends. So that was really like taking a lot of toll on me, and I felt that like like what you said during the lockdown or during the the circuit breaker. Yeah, it's something where it just bothered me so much that like I couldn't really feel like productive as much as I used to be in the past. So what I did was I took up exercising. Like whatever that like I couldn't do, like I channeled that out through like sweat. And fortunately I have a group of friends like and after that as well, like we've been exercising over house party for like over house party over like the whole duration of circuit breaker every single day. Every day. So that was something that like I just felt that like it's such a blessing, because at least I have friends in the same time zone, doing things that they also want to fulfill as well, and it's something that is just channeled into good energy.
House party is the one that you can live stream with each other and
Play
play games,
games.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Unfortunately, it's closing
Oh.
down soon.
Yeah.
So
But
like,
it boomed during the COVID.
Yes,
Yes.
the circuit breaker.
The second breaker,
Yeah.
because everyone was like nothing to do.
House party. Yeah.
and watch Netflix with your friends as well, just to look at their reactions, how they watch like
Netflix party.
the Netflix party.
So were you affected? No, like as in when you come back to Singapore, right? Is it do you need to serve SHN or like somewhere before?
Actually, yes, I did. Like, I actually had to be in the hotel for 14 days. It's a premium. How do I call it? Like, it's a premium jail, I would say. Premium staycation, but mandatory jail. But like, you know, in some ways, it's I would call it a privilege, lah. It's a
Yeah.
privilege to be in a position of being fortunate in first and foremost in Singapore.
True.
And second is, you know, there's a lot of other people out there, it is, you know, who might not have the same level of entitlement as, you know, Singaporean citizens do lah.
Yeah.
So that was something that I just felt like, you know, I'm very, very humbled by the whole entire experience. I actually channeled that into like a story in a film as well that I actually did, you know, during the whole 14 days duration. So yeah, that has been exciting, and I don't know if I can actually look forward to another 14 days. It's just very, very difficult for me, but like, I know that a lot of people are in quarantine at this point of time as well. It is something that, like, you know, how do I put it? It's something to just push on and try to keep like as much energy out there as possible if you can at home.
And you know, people out there,
Yeah.
I mean, these times are the toughest.
Yeah.
And we do not, underestimate that. And we just want to say that, hey, if, you know, give some encouragement, smile a little, you know, as we leave, take a little step. Yeah, right? And we are all in this together. I think
We are all in this together.
everybody, you know, everybody hustling and all that. So let's fight our battles together.
Yeah, especially for the people who couldn't be vaccinated as well, right? Especially the very vulnerable group, the elderly people who, it's not that they don't want to, it's just that they could not. Like, really, they could not. And we are all protecting them because we are either at home or we are either get vaccinated as well. Yeah. So we have a few cards that are over here.
Okay, I
yes.
have drafted 3 questions, 3 cards, A, B, C. So you guys just pick one alphabet.
I'll take the
Yeah.
lead then.
Okay, just read out the question and you can arrow each other, or you can answer yourself.
How about we start with the A first?
Yeah. Okay. read out the question first.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, the question is if dementia is a person, what will you tell him or her?
Okay, maybe you think about it, and then Aaron, you can.
Well,
read
I
out.
will. Okay, so if dementia is a person, right, what would you tell him or her? Try not to come to me as soon as possible. I would say. I mean, like, dementia, I know, like, it's a very, very, what do you call it? It's a very slow process. Like, it can affect people from, you know, as early as 30 years old. Right? It can affect people like 30 years old, 40 years old, something like this, and it gets progressively more and more worse. And you know, I'll just say, like, I'm trying to do my best to stay active as possible. So please try to stay away from me as much as possible, because I'm doing my best as well. But you know, if it comes to me, like, I'll make the most of like what I remember as well. I'll try to record all these memories. So if you come to me, I'm not going to be afraid of it.
I think for me, I would say, I would say I would probably want to ask, like, why are you here? Like,
Embrace it.
yeah, but at the same time, I think I would like to also say thank you, because through dementia coming to like my grandma, to our family, there's a lot of actually good that I see out of it amidst the challenges and the difficulties. Like, I actually could see visibly like the love of like my mom or my helper, and also my family towards my grandma. Like, the perseverance, the commitment to care for someone with dementia is really not easy. That day to day it's only when you see it for yourself that you can actually know, you know, and see that, wow, actually someone can actually love someone so much, you know, that you will do this for a person, that you will care for this person to that extent. Yeah, so I mean, I would like to say thank you also, but even though you have cost us a lot of yeah. How about for yourself?
For me, I want to get as much away from there as possible, but if it really comes, it comes, and when it comes, then I will try to understand that person. I want to try my best to understand who is this guy. You know, if dementia is a guy or a girl, I want to understand why, what, and you know how. You know, if like it's like if a friend need help, then you would not say, hey, I would not want to help you, but more of like I want to understand your situation first.
Yeah.
Let's see, you know, what choices we have, what solutions we have. Then I mean, be it, you know, here and there, or you know, what's the outcome? Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Would you record your memory somewhere as well? Like
I was about to say, if dementia is a person, then he or she or me wouldn't remember what we had just said.
Yeah.
So we'll probably record something like a video like that.
Yeah, right now, like, you know, I rely so much on Google Photos to actually tag my friends and my people I know as well. So like, if it comes back to me, I know like, oh, on 12th of December 2020, I've done this, I've done that, and I could remember all of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing about Google Photo, I'm not sure iPhone they do. Google, right, every file, like, it's like Facebook, they will remind you what happened 10 years back. If your phone capture it, it sends to the cloud, right, and it will remind you in the database that, oh, you did this 10 years back, 5 years back. And so happened whenever I, you know, log into my phone and it happens to show me that, I realize, wow, like a part of that memory has been, not say forgotten, but it's just locked away. Like, and I realized that, wow, you know, this is where technology comes into place, right? To remind us to have photos, to have, you know, technology, games and what, to remind us that what happened and what we have had before.
It's a privilege to actually have this to look back on.
Yeah, it is definitely.
But to have such technology.
B. Okay. So my question would be, of the 5 senses, you can only keep one. What will it be and why? So the 5 senses are sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. Very difficult question. What would be the one thing that you will keep and why?
Wait, the context is important, right? Is it for survival or is it for like, you know, like if I have the luxury to
Open context.
I think if you have the luxury to choose whichever you want, I guess, like, what would you think? I mean, for me, I would say like, I'm a very visual person, so I would keep my sight. I'm a photographer myself, I'm a filmmaker myself in some ways as well. So like, it is something that I feel that like without it, I couldn't see colors, I couldn't experience, you know, I couldn't experience visuals, and it's just going to be extremely difficult for me to actually understand how the world moves around us. And that is something that I really want to keep, like if I could only choose one, like out of the 5 senses. I guess that's, I don't know, do you guys have something different?
Mine's the same.
I have something slightly different though. Because I think smell is important. I understand it's a double-edged sword, but I would love to, because okay, I love food, I love eating. You know, I guess my career doesn't as in is doesn't support it, as in I would probably choose sight for my career, but I mean, if I were to choose one, you know, sound and sight is basically basic, but why I would choose smell is because it ties into the taste. And I love food, so if I ever, you know, for survival wise, right, would choose one, right, I think tasting would be tasting and smell would come hand to hand.
Mm.
That's why I will retain my smell. You can smell the most loveliest flowers, prettiest flowers and freshest flower, but I also understand you can smell a different kind of smell lah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
quite interesting.
For me, the sight is definitely something that I'll choose because I cannot imagine a world without color, or I can't do any of what I'm doing. But besides that, also maybe thinking about it further would be touch, because even though my love language is like really not touch, like it's my lowest on the list, but I really think that touch really plays a part in how we relate to people.
Yeah.
Like at home, my grandma, when she feels scared, when she feels that she cannot remember where she is, just holding her hand helps to calm her down.
Give her that assurance.
Yeah, that's so magical, right? Yeah, even a pat on the shoulder or a hug for a friend, that does wonders.
Yeah, it does.
What's your love language? Just curious.
Well, for me, it is acts of service.
Oh, yeah.
It's acts of service. And then what is the other one that is, I know physical touch is third, but like the first one is, so there are 5, right? So physical touch, quality time. So quality time and acts of service is mine. Then physical touch,
Words and gifts.
words, and then gifts. Yeah, that's my ranking.
Interesting.
Yours?
I think time, quality time first, then touch, and I think words. Yeah.
Affirmation, words of affirmation. Okay.
Okay, my top 2 are time and words.
Time and words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Okay, I think now we can move on to the last one. So, okay, the question is, how do you want to preserve your memories? Oh, so this is something actually kind of touched me on, but y'all can expound more.
How else do we want to preserve our memories? It's a very difficult question because like I think technology just is the only way I could remember like stuff as well. But you know, I also believe in actually printing out like those memories if I could. I was thinking of actually like trying to what do you call that? Maybe I could rephrase a little bit, because I have a lot of old photos that I have when I was younger that my parents actually captured of me, and I wanted to put that into a book at some point of time with digitize the film, and then after that like convert it into technology, and then compile it into like a photo album that consists of all my childhood memories up to like I was, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, using the digital camera, from a film camera to a digital camera. So I did that and put that up into a book, and I labeled the pages as the number of days I was alive till the picture was taken.
Wow.
So I thought that was something that like after actually organizing and compiling everything, I realized that it's actually a very, very fun way of actually preserving these memories, because it just showcases how I grew up from a baby to like the small little things where I'm experimenting with selfies with a small little digital camera, and I just thought that like having a physical material itself, something that like exists for a lifetime, and maybe like it's a combination of digital and physical, it just helps to bring things back to me, because we are living in a digital world, but it's not something that's completely secure as well.
Yes.
So things can get like hacked or lost, or you forget your password or something like this, and then all of a sudden these memories are gone. So I think it's really important to have some form of physical stuff as well, just as a backup. But at the same time, like it's also something that like with from a more like material thing that you can touch, you can feel, you can see, and you can share with other people too. Yeah. What about yourself?
I think I have this very idealistic concept of if there's this day where technology catch up, right? I love like Black Mirror and all that. So
I love that film too.
So that concept actually, if let's say if you guys also watch Marvel, right? Tony Stark used this technology called Buff, right? Basically a holographic memory, right? So what if you can replay your memories again? Like the AI can can you upload your memories out into the cloud, and the AI can do the sorting out of like the timeline for you. And once you want to revisit a memory or a childhood or what, right, you can easily do your button of press. Yeah. So, but I realized that also what you mentioned is hackable.
Yeah.
So
really quickly, like also like what do you think? Like
so for me, right, I actually accidentally wiped out my hard disk once.
Oh no.
So I agree that technology really fails sometimes.
Can be improved.
Social media really helps. I also do believe in physical stuff. I like the idea of time capsules. So maybe there's something. I think just an item sparks a memory. And I think that's wonderful. Food itself also smell like curry fish cake or whatever, I think it's
multifaceted.
And I hope to preserve my memories through different
I
ways.
always want to do the time capsule thing, but I see everywhere in Singapore. I don't have any. Like it always intrigued me that like other country, like other people can do that, but we are very ever changing now. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, that probably comes up to the. We don't have a lot of time left, but that comes up to the end of the Enabling Festival 2021. I hope that you have heard a little bit more about like what caregiving means or what technology means. I hope that you guys have heard about what we have to share about here. My name is Aaron.
My name is Aloysius.
I'm Dorcas.
And thank you so much for coming for Enabling Festival 2021.
See you.
Thank you. Support the Enabling Festival.
Thank you for watching our program. We hope you have found this useful, and please help us to complete a simple survey by using the QR code provided below. This will help us to improve and fulfill our requirements for the various sponsors. If you want to find out more about the Enabling Festival 2021, please visit our Facebook page, our Instagram, our TikTok, and website to see more what we have more lined up for you. The Enabling Festival is in its 4th year now, and it certainly has been a very rewarding journey. We hope we can pledge $1 or more to this cause, because this will further help our cause for dementia community. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.